Welcome to Offset, Larry and the Big Man. I'm Larry Richard, along with two-time Stanley Cup champion Jay Caulfield and hockey analyst. What is it, almost 2 decades now for Sportsnet?
Yeah, I was with Dave for 15 of them.
Dave Ricchini,
more.
A mastermind who produces television, sports broadcasting, which isn't easy. A lot of audibles that go on in the course of shows.
Yeah.
It takes a special person to deal with that. You seem very calm.
That's exactly,
which is good.
I was going to say it's exactly what he was every night when we were on the air, and it's a calming influence across the board when everything's going a little haywire or the telestrator stops working when you're on live TV. And
that's tough.
Dave's pretty good with that.
I haven't seen, I'll be honest, because of the West Coast swing, I haven't seen you telestrate yet this season. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, while I'm coming home, you're just waking up, coming down. Yeah, yep. So
that's crazy too. I mean, you talk about how many years he's been doing it. The telestration never gets old. He's always finding something. It's not always a goal.
It's strong. He must have had
defenseman pinching. It's always something that he finds those little.
We went
it's
back
talent.
and looked at Jay's artwork in grade school. It might have been an indicator.
No, that is true. There are some moments, yes.
We want to thank Logan Douglas and Ryan Jorgen producing this episode, and want to thank Brian Hess, One Team Media, for the great work his entire team does, and Odyssey, the team I work for. We have 5 radio stations in Pittsburgh with 93.7 The Fan, thanks to Michael Spacciapoli, and, of course, Andrew Filipponi, that also joins us every Tuesday after Steeler games here on Offset. And we want to thank Henderson Brothers, a new addition to our strategic partnership. We want to thank Tom Grealish. Experience the power of partnership at hendersonbrothers.com. They are the greater Pittsburgh region's biggest independent agency.
Yeah, it's awesome. And also Dave Rourke Automotive Group. We are really happy that he's part of it and are a sponsor along with everybody else. So thank you.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. Lots of opportunities as we get ready for another big weekend in the National Football League. But as we close out last week, some of the thoughts on, again, a whole series of games. Incredible.
First of all, I love when there's a game on Thursday night, but I do hate it when the Steelers play, even though I look forward to them playing on Thursday night. But then when that game's done, you don't have them for the weekend, which I kind of like the build-up leading to the weekend. So I'll get by that, and then we get into this. I watched a number of games yesterday on Sunday. There were some outstanding games, and some teams really are rising to the top for me. And we've talked about Kansas City just kind of getting along and coming up there. They look dominant. I know, against the Raiders, I get it. Didn't matter. They would have done that against anybody, in my opinion, yesterday, because they still got a defense that's coming out there working hard. He threw the ball to 7, 8 different players. He's got speed back in the lineup. Now, again, one more time, you're going to see the Kansas City Chiefs be somebody to reckon with as you go down the line, because Patrick Mahomes makes it all happen, but with Worthy. Look at the names coming back, right? So you have Rice coming back, Hollywood Brown there. I think they lost Hunt, might have got banged up a little bit. We're not sure, but they just got a lot of weapons, and they look that good, Dave.
Yeah, Rashee Rice steps in after the suspension, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, got him involved. They're dangerous on offense again. I mean, you saw the first couple of weeks when Worthy was hurt, no Rice, they were kind of struggling to get by, but now they're adding those weapons back to what they already had in Hollywood Brown and Juju, and Travis Kelce's still there. Interesting to see if Hunt misses any time. Brashard Smith, their rookie running back, who's kind of he's a weapon. He's a more of a scat back, but he's been getting more and more involved in the game plan as the weeks gone by. But how about the Raiders? They ran 30 plays for the game. Mahomes threw the ball 35 times. The Raiders ran 30 plays.
They looked awful on the offensive side. They looked awful. Like, I don't know how. I'm just always shocked by you have an NFL franchise and you can't pull together. I don't know what all the staff, I don't know what you're doing between your scouting staff, all that goes into creating and preparing a team for the beginning of a season. And you start off the way you do. We talked about the Jets. We can talk about the Jets doing the same thing. The Raiders, again, it's tough for the players that are there that are elite, and they just don't have anything going. I said 30 plays.
And you got Tom Brady as a minority owner, but you would think he'd have some offensive influence to try to help the team. didn't happen for the Raiders.
No, that didn't happen at all. They said they looked bad, and they said, and Mahomes could do whatever he wanted, but that was just one of the games. I mean, I saw that. We're just taking note of what KC's doing, and again, they seem to be falling right into that elite category, even though they're 4-3. It might not have a home, it might not run through Kansas City, but they're going to find themselves in, if anything.
Then again, who's the top team in the AFC right now?
Well,
I mean,
look at
lost 2.
Yeah.
This is what they did last year, Kansas City. They, struggled early in the beginning of the year, and the next thing you know, they're on a tear, and they win back-to-back Super Bowls, and now they're hoping to do a three-peat.
I think what happens too, when you saw Buffalo last week, we know what the Ravens are a complete. Seems to be a mess, right?
Yeah.
They were the ones that were always going to be posing a problem for Kansas City, as we talked about, or the Steelers and all that goes with that. KC now, you put them in that position.
Where did
Indianapolis,
that come from?
you know what? It's kind of great how Daniel Jones, how that's working out. He's got a running game, right? Jonathan Taylor probably performing. If you looked at the numbers and everything, Jonathan Taylor's you get an unbelievable running game, great tight end. Daniel Jones has just gotten an opportunity, and he's running with it, and they're all biting it. I don't know if everybody remembers this in the beginning of the year. He was named captain, or he was one of the captains of the team. And they had a camera going around the room, and they were trying to show guys that weren't happy that he was a captain, right? Did you see that? It was NFL. I'm not sure what NFL films what I was watching. And everybody's like, Daniel Jones, captain, really? Well, all of a sudden he gets in there, and he's the leader. He's leading everything.
So it wasn't his fault.
I mean, that to me, Dave. Again, Larry, Dave, KC, Indy, one more time, going to the Chargers, going to L.A. The uniforms of the L.A. Chargers, that's a debacle
They
too.
look like Savannah Bananas.
Well, I'd rather see the Savannah Bennett. Save that for them. Save that for them in the baseball. I couldn't.
Wait,
They're
it's too
uniforms
early
are
for
brutal.
the big man blitz.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
well, we could add that one.
We can add that. We could add that. But I thought them going into L.A. and doing their thing, they look like they're kind of the real deal.
Pretty sure the Steelers are going to be wearing their
I know.
retro uniforms for the Packers game.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody. A few years ago, Packers had retro uniforms. They might have been some of the worst in the league, but they weren't what that was yesterday or the other day on Sunday for the Chargers. So that's my opinion.
All right, what about New England? The Steelers beat them,
Yep.
and it wasn't easy. The turnovers help, and now New England's. I'll tell you, I like Vrabel as a coach. I thought he was a great player. He spent all that time in New England. Even scored a touchdown in a Super Bowl as a
perfect
defensive
fit.
player with
Right
a pass reception. I think he's a good coach, and it's looking like they're a factor.
He kind of knew going into Tennessee, Vrabel facing his former team, that they're going to be a little bit more motivated. But the story continues to be Drake May. I mean, he set a franchise record for a completion percentage, over 91%.
With Tom Brady winning 6 Super Bowls as a Patriot, he won his 7th, obviously, with Tampa Bay. Drake May sets a franchise record.
Yeah.
Think about how astronomical that is.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think Mike Vrabel, number one, was the perfect choice. He has that mentality, like he's a battler. When he went into Tennessee, the fans knew when you got rid of him, you moved on from a guy that's nothing but, the blood and guts kind of guy. That guy just he plays, he coaches the same way, and I think his players always. It just seems like, again, we're not in the locker room. It just seems like the players. There's one that they respect. They moved on from him, and he's in the right place, Dave.
Right.
Really doing a great job there.
Yeah, young quarterback. I mean, he never really had a great quarterback in Tennessee.
No.
They drafted some guys. They had Tannehill down there, but now he's got a guy that, a top 5 pick last year that, and he's got some weapons in New England, but they're not, other than Stephon Diggs, they're not household names.
And there's no complaining coming from Stephon Diggs. I don't hear any. They're winning, right? But remember, there's always lightning rods when you get in. There's nobody whining about. Yeah, right. That's how it seems certainly right now, right? And when you have that, that's that part we're talking about, respect. There's Mike Vrabel probably would have no time for that, as they didn't do it when they were in New England and won, right? I'm sure there are players that had that feeling, but somehow it gets put away when they're in New England. It's
So
just
you can
shoved
kind of
aside.
circle New England. They are definitely a team to watch, and a team that a lot of people thought would do well, didn't look good early
Yeah.
last Sunday, But how in the world in the National Football League do you score 33 points?
Is that a record, Dave? 33
in the
points in the fourth quarter. Yeah. I needed that game in my parlay. So
It worked.
Thank God I turned away from it. And then lo
you're-
and behold,
You're thinking early, this blows up my parlay.
I only just needed to win. I just needed to win for this one part of it.
41 is the most points.
41. Oh, that's kind of wild. 33 and a quarter. I agree, Larry. I have no idea how it turned, and the calls going back and forth, and decision making, and what you do defensively. Larry, good. You know, your father-in-law used to say it all the time. I don't know why the Giants
The prevent
Yep.
defense.
Go ahead.
It's called to prevent yourself from winning. Do what you did to get to where you are in the game. The vanilla defense, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it. It
yeah.
was a disaster.
Yeah.
And Denver's apparently for real.
And you feel for, there's a lot of things that went down there with the Giants, but missing 2 extra points. I mean, you could see it. You knew it was done. You could almost see it away.
How'd you like to be just in New York City right now between the Jets and that loss yesterday for the Giants? The sports pages there it just was brutal.
Yeah, we'd like to see the headline of the Post, right? If you could see the headline of in the papers in New York, which are the best. Yeah, I don't know what that would be like. At least they have life in New York. Like they feel they've got something.
With the Giants,
Yeah, they
don't have anything with the Jets.
No, which I've said this. That is to me, again, that falls into one of those. We talked about a franchise. You're putting the team together. You have all this time, all this scouting, everything you go through in the draft, and this is what's going on as far as your roster or your team in general. I just beside myself for the amount of money, again, for the amount of staffing that's put together and what you have to do and all the scouting that you do. That you come in and you're nowhere near. I mean, obviously, injuries can dictate so much in games and why teams can be in a position, but that you can't put out on the field and where you're saying, I'm going to pay somebody $20 million to do this job, and they're nowhere near what some other players are around the league or whatever it might be. That's the problem. It's like a total overhaul. Like you need a total overhaul. I truly believe that. Like you have to look and go, we just hired a new coach. And why do we pick him up? Because he was a coordinator in Detroit on the Jets side? I don't know.
Well, Jets, some of the fans they showed had bags on their heads.
Oh,
It
that's
said sell the
Sure.
team.
oh,
Sound familiar?
no, what is yeah.
So
That's tough early. It's tough when you're not even halfway point.
well,
That's where it's tough to go to your locker room every day. You're walking in, even though it's your job and what you do, it's tough. Already you're out of it. In week 7.
right.
That's tough. That makes a long year.
All right. Running backs in the National Football League.
Yeah. Dave, for me, you can probably look up the top one, who the top ones are, but I was mentioning we always I come to Jonathan Taylor because I don't think he quite was getting, his just due, if you will. I mean, everybody knows he's a great back. But Jonathan Taylor is just lighting it up. Not only he's getting in the end zone 3 times again this past weekend, he's one of the best. Robinson, we saw him on Sunday night game, and he didn't get the same touches. But McCaffrey, the league is loaded with elite running backs right now. And Dave made the point a couple weeks ago how Saquon Barkley is not being utilized right. Now you're starting to see some frustration with him when they're playing the other day or last Sunday. Not getting the touches. Then he runs into the line. There's nothing there. Those guys are built to do. They're different. They're wired different. But Henry, underutilized was your point a couple of weeks ago, and it certainly is proving that way. These other guys, they find a way to get these guys the ball. And I mentioned the other night about Atlanta. I mentioned about the Sunday night game. Bijan Robinson is a weapon. So they took him out of the game. Okay, I mean, they're taking it away. Otherwise, I didn't see him take Christian McCaffrey away. Christian McCaffrey lit up Atlanta. And that's really why they won the game. And their defense was stout.
Right.
But they won the game because Christian McCaffrey was that good. How are the other coaches and teams not finding ways to get their elite skilled player the ball? So, but I find it the great running backs in the game today.
Yeah, Taylor leading the league by over 100 yards rushing, almost has 700 yards rushing already this season. Yeah, it's some other guys up there. Bijan Robinson, like you mentioned, it's when they drafted him high, you thought that they're going to feed him. Lions did similar thing with Jahmyr Gibbs when he first came in the league, splitting time with David Montgomery, but now you're seeing them kind of take the reins off and give him more of the workload. Another guy, Buffalo paid all that money to James Cook. He's another guy that they don't utilize as much.
Yeah, I agree. I don't understand that either.
Where is Jalen Warren on that list? He's a dual
been up.
threat.
Yeah, he
runs
is.
hard. He's
27th.
wow.
Now you got a guy from Green Bay coming in that runs again. There's another player that runs hard, right? We always say that, right? The balance between running the ball and passing the ball, one sets up the other. Jalen Warren is a perfect. He has been doing such a great job. Like you said, out of the backfield, running the ball. Hard runs.
Kenneth Gainwell has been a great addition.
The
two of them, they've made some real progress in the running game. The Steelers have.
Yep.
They're going to need that Sunday night against the Packers.
Yep.
They're calling this one of the biggest regular season games since Brady came with the Patriots to Acrisure. I don't know how many seasons ago. In other words, the interest, try to get a ticket for this. Packers fans travel well. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, his franchise of past where he won a Super Bowl, beating the Steelers. So a lot of intrigue in this game.
Yeah, I agree. It's looking forward to it. I mean, it's kind of funny how the scheduling really did set up, right? The Steelers just happened to play the Jets, and then we talked about that, throughout the year. And now the Packers are coming in. And I think when Aaron Rodgers, he just has a way of going about his business, though, and and doing his thing. That's what I said. That's why we mentioned it's a tough one to give up last week when you could have been 5-1 coming in here, and the Heat's. It's turned up a little bit.
But even Rodgers said a week ago after the loss in Cincinnati, when they talked to him in the locker room, it's like, yeah, it's disappointing. We had a chance. He goes, but I'm not on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
We're still in the lead in the AFC North.
Yeah.
We have, he just kind of calmed everybody down a little bit in the locker room because there was a sense of, after losing that game, you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to watch Sunday night.
I would have to think that, Green Bay, and we'll get into it again later, but Green Bay, they're not lighting it up either. They got by and just barely beat Arizona over the weekend. I think the Steelers are going to come with a whole different level of.
Hope so.
I'm not sure why. When we talked about what on the defensive side, that there's no heat, no pressure. No, what is somebody doing? I thought there was talk about the Cincinnati Bengals line not being, you should get to
much maligned and they manhandled.
Yeah. So tough. I expect it to be. Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Deeper into that, but it's time. You could see Jay. It's starting to build.
There's
for the big man blitz. So Jay, what's on your?
Well, I had multiple. I know there are so many things. Even as we're talking right here, I talked about the uniforms. That could have been part. That's a little piece. The uniforms of the Chargers that I did not like.
Little blitz sidebar.
And it's kind of funny. I didn't like it. And I was working out this morning. I saw John Gruden was talking about it, and it was quite funny because he had the same feeling that we do. I think what's getting me still are the calls that are game-changing calls in the NFL. Changing. It's amazing to me. And one of them was late in the game with the Giants and Denver making a comeback. And they throw a ball into the end zone, towards the end zone, and it was covered, in my opinion, perfectly. He gets his head around everything, and they throw a flag. In pros, it's distance. Like it's in college, it's what they get
15 yards.
Right, it's 15 yards. In pro game, it's distance. So you turn the whole game around. And Denver, we know came back and ends up winning the game anyway. Total problem with that. I do not know how that can't be somehow changed, that you are literally leaving. It's a fast sport, a fast game. All of them are. Hockey, the same. It's fast. And there's human side to it. But that call, to me, I didn't get it at all. That's one. The other one was late. If you had Atlanta, it's 13-10. And by the way, Atlanta didn't put 10 guys out on a 3rd and 18 play late in the game. They only had 10 players. So that's a sour part too. But the other one is an offensive lineman pulls McCaffrey into the end zone. Well, that's illegal. You can't pull a guy and pull him into the end zone as an offensive lineman. They did it. And it's still, they let the play go.
Push him.
Yeah, you push him, which I'm still totally against that too. So I don't like the tush push. I don't like that. They should go back to what it was before, where forward progress stops. That's it. You shouldn't allow the linemen to come up and run up and jam and keep going. Now, I'm not saying that running backs don't keep their legs moving, but once they get held up, that should be it. Same thing. That would eliminate a tush push. That would eliminate that stuff in the middle of the field. So that's how I feel about it.
That's the big man's
Yes.
blitz. I think we should get John Gruden on
Oh, we should.
to talk about those things. You know who we will get on? Frank Caliendo.
Very.
We'll get him on.
I would love.
Frank, he does the best Gruden. Remember his John Madden?
Yeah, it's very good. He is the best in the world at that, without a doubt.
He's actually addressed, when Gruden was coach of the Raiders, he actually addressed the team twice. And as Frank Caliendo pointed out to us when he visited our radio show, he said, I'm 2-0. So we'll get him on the show down the road for sure.
It's awesome.
It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. Big weekend, Hall of Fame. And guess what, Dave? You know this. Our partner here was part of the selection committee.
Yes.
You know these guys.
Yeah.
You know their impact on the fan base. So let's talk about the energized Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think the Penguins are doing a great job with that, right? So everything involved bringing guys back and ramping up with the Hall of Fame because of all the players that have come through here. Dave has been a part of it. Watch all the years that have been working these games, and back to the days when I was playing in previous. So many great players. And we know the tide turned when Mario came here, right? You had Pierre LaRouche, the superstars, and during them when Mario came, the tide turned. And the players that have come through here and the coaches that have been here, there's so many players you could choose from. So you come down, you look at it. The coaches, I think, with Scotty Bowman coming back in, he filled in at a very, very tough time for us as an organization, or the organization and our team after we won the first Stanley Cup. Scotty takes over. I think the best thing he did was kind of leave it as it was and just ran the bench, and he's probably the best bench boss in the game. So Scotty's going to be there. Eddie Johnston going to be there, getting inducted. We all know everything about EJ because, it's something so talked about. But again, what he's done in the game and what he's meant to the game, what he's meant to the Penguins, that's very great to see him going to be a part of that. And then two players that I'm really close with, Ronnie Francis and Kevin Stevens. Again, players that Kevin just did something. You say premier power forward. There were power forwards and how it shows. But Kevin was different, unique. Come in off the left side, come in anyway, takes it to the net, big, barrel-chested, just a big body that could fight, would protect his teammates, played the game hard, but he was prolific goal scorer when he played with Mario. Even he would say himself that when you play with that, there's the pressure goes with it, that you have to make sure you finish and stuff like that. But playing with them, they're demanding the superstar players, but Kevin Stevens rode with that, and Ronnie Francis, again, probably one of the best two-way players ever played the game. The numbers, Hall of Famer, still a great friend today. Talk to him every week. We bet football every week, just our little casual side bet on Monday nights. I'll be expecting to get a text anytime from him today.
10:20.
Or on Tuesday. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. On Mondays, we bet.
2 games tonight.
Two games on Monday, so we alternate picks. So, but again, great guy, great talent, and they're all going to be brought out here, and they're all coming into town, and it's such a great thing, and the Penguins have done a great job with it.
What was the selection process like?
We had to go through. There's a list of people that are doing it, so we look, and you have a list of all the players, and you want to look at timing too, like guys from the past, and certainly they want to get guys that are like EJ can be there, and Scotty Bowman can be there, so they look at that. They look at from coaches, Dave, the general manager of the past, Craig's in it already, but you start looking at players and what they meant. It's not only just statistics, but it's what they meant to the franchise in general. But there are some players that purely by statistics were that good. But I think what they meant to the heart and soul and winning, and that you won with it. And championships dictate so much on that. And but that's what it was like. And you looked at it, and then they just kind of broke it down, and they wanted to go with 4 right away this year to kind of get caught up. And I think it was a great idea.
Yeah, looking forward to it. The fans are going to love that.
Yeah,
all those guys were loved here for different reasons, and congrats to you being a part of the committee.
Oh, yeah. It's very nice. Again, it's nice to be a part, especially with knowing everybody in the way we've covered it. Honestly, I don't think, I don't think you could be part of that unless you've covered it and been a part of it, the players before. And Dave and I, as we said before, Larry, and you too. I mean, we've done interviews for all these years covering it and seeing it, it can give you an idea, like, does somebody belong in that kind of situation? And really, all the names are all qualified for it.
And there's a thread. It's an amazing, when you consider Pierre LaRouche coming here, 18 years old, French-Canadian, who was like top rookie, scored 50 goals, and then Mario Lemieux comes. Pierre and Mario, still close friends. As you know, Jay, you golf with these guys. Pierre was always in the owner's box with you guys. And then you have Sidney Crosby, who ends up being really living with Mario Lemieux, playing with Mario Lemieux for a period of time after you trained Mario for his great comeback. I mean, think of the thread of the cohesiveness of just that line and all the guys that come with that. This is a great franchise.
There's a picture, and a shame we couldn't have Dave pull it up and be able to get it on the screen. When Mario was young, before he was in the NHL playing junior, he was at the Montreal Forum behind the bench. Pierre is on the bench, playing for the Canadians next to Guy Lafleur. I think Guy Lafleur did something special on that given night. But there's Mario right behind the bench, starting. If you think about it, don't know each other, just going, and Pierre ends up, I think, all the records that Mario took and so on and so forth, and what they mean. And Pierre truly was that first. Well, I'm not sure. I don't want to short anybody that played the game before him, but he was that personality that came in, and we still laugh today because Pierre's been in the U.S. For a long time. Mario speaks perfect English, and Pierre still speaks one of his own kind. He's a blend. He has a blend.
He has a French-Canadian Yinzer accent.
And still one of the best one of the guys, he hits the ball a ton. He's still just such a great guy and a great teammate. He was a teammate of mine in New York. When I first went to New York, when I went in the Rangers locker room, one of the first guys I met was Pierre. So it is, the ties to the Penguins are very unique. But the picture was phenomenal that was floating around out there.
It was his 1,000th point. That was
1,000th point. Yeah.
Right.
What is that? The picture? You got the picture right there?
Do.
Shame we can't show it because it's amazing, really.
That is actually remarkable.
Yeah.
But there's a thread with this team. It goes through just those three alone.
Right.
And then you add all the other players. So fun Hall of Fame weekend for the Penguins. Then
Very good.
It's the game of the week in the National Football League. The Pittsburgh Steelers host the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I kind of can't wait. We all can't wait for that, right? So Sunday night, and Dave, again,
you're a Packers fan, a little bit.
I've been a Packer fan. Oh, I've been a Packer fan from like my whole life. But since I've been here, you have to be a Steeler fan. So I'm a Steeler fan. So I'm glad that the NFC. I've been a Packer fan on the NFC side. I didn't floater. I didn't jump. I was a loyal Packer fan, even when I lived in Philly, which that's hard to do, right? If you're not an Eagles fan, I was a Packer fan, even in lean years, right? So when they come up with Brett Favre and you think about the few quarterbacks like what the Steelers have had the luxury of having Ben be the quarterback for so many years, and now it's bounced around a little bit. Well, in Green Bay, it went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Now they got Jordan Love. To me, it's a great franchise and something that's owned by, the citizens, right?
That's the only team in the NFL that has that arrangement.
I have a few ownership.
Are you part of the ownership?
So it's ownership group.
Fair to say, we'll add that to his resume, minority owner with the Green Bay Packers.
So Alicia got me that. Alicia and the girls got me. I have these little things.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, it is. It's a little, and a buddy of mine who I played football with in college. In fact, he's coming in for the game this weekend. I played football with him in North Dakota, and went to a game out there, and it is phenomenal experience to go to Lambeau Field. If you're a guy that likes to be in different stadiums and see it, that experience is awesome. So one of a kind, really.
I think Packers fans, similar to Steeler fans, they can relate. It's going to be a fun night. It's a tough ticket to get, and all the eyes of the NFL will be on Pittsburgh and Green Bay on Sunday.
Rodgers has the chance to become the 5th quarterback to beat all 32 NFL franchises. Can you name the 4 that have done it?
How about that? And he just
Peyton Manning?
Yep.
He just moved into 5th place for passing yards too, ahead of Brett Favre.
Brett Favre?
People forget.
Yeah. How many? 5? You said?
He would become the 5th.
5th.
Remember when Rodgers was Favre's backup?
Yes, for a lot of years too. A lot of years. 4 or 5 years. Is that behind him?
I mean, yeah.
It wasn't the warmest relationship.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was kind of a cold. I mean, when you see some of that, right, it's kind of cold. But older quarterbacks. Now we're going older.
No.
Peyton, Brett Favre. Wow, I'm stumped now.
Brady
Oh, jeez, yeah.
and Breeze. So he can join.
Well,
that.
because Breeze and it's Breeze and Chargers land. Yeah, very good.
Ben Roethlisberger and Mahomes beat 31 teams, but play with the
There
same
you go.
franchise.
That's a very good. That's a great one there.
That's actually a
Yeah.
pretty cool
I
stat.
think this game here, I started to say, I think Green Bay can be had. I think the Steelers, if you're Green Bay, you know you're coming into like a hornet's nest a little bit, because when you get embarrassed, and the Steelers D felt embarrassed by the effort last week, I expect them to be at a different level.
They better be.
Yeah, they have to be. I said they got a running game, and they got weapons on the outside, a tight end that they utilize. But I don't think their defense. I watched them. They give up a lot on the defensive side. And but Micah Parsons had a really good game the other day, and they got to make sure they keep him out of the backfield, because one-on-one he dominates one-on-one. I don't know why they left him in a one-on-one situation the other day, but he dominates. They got to make sure they take care. Arizona just left their guy on an island, and he took advantage of it every time.
And 3 sacks.
Last
Sacks against the
week,
Cardinals.
What happened how did they neutralize T.J. Watt in the Steelers defense?
I mean, I think it's hard when you're on the end. Like, if you're in one spot, if you're on the side, they're trying to move around. I understand that. Micah Parsons was moving, in the middle, back to the outside, and they could just run away, go the other way from him. That's one thing, but there was no pressure. If you're getting double teamed all the time, they're able to take care of everybody else. I really, if I could see the film and look at it, and just know that there was no collapsing of the pocket very little. And then when you got guys wide open, there's not even time. They didn't have to do anything. It was slammed.
What we have?
Jamar
One
Chase took a couple
sack
strides
on
and kept it.
Flacco. Was that it?
2 sacks.
Two?
I think if you couldn't take away some of the routes that they were doing, they knew what they were doing every time. It wasn't even a question. Like Flacco stepped back and really calm and comfortable. Just threw, if it's Jamar Chase, a couple strides, step in the middle, they hit him on a slant. I don't know. You can't even get to a quarterback that way. It's just out of his hands.
Everything went right, including the pick on DK Metcalf. That was a good,
I'm still. That
Good
could have been
throw.
one of my. By the way, I'm going to say that could have been part of my big man blitz. No way do I feel that was. I didn't feel that was an interception. I'm not saying it wasn't taken away. Just didn't feel like he got it after he gained control.
They initially called it a catch by Metcalf.
Metcalf.
I
Right?
don't think they knew what happened.
Right.
The ref was confused.
I mean,
So I wasn't a fan of that call. Not being a homer, I didn't get the call.
that wasn't on Rodgers, that one.
No.
The first one was. But I expect Rodgers to rise up in the moment.
Yeah.
He knows the eyes of the football world are on him. He's playing his old team. He'd like nothing more than
Thrives on it. He thrives.
he's
in those
going to tip
situations.
his cap afterwards. Hey, love those guys, but it was fun to beat them. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, let's hope so. I hope. I'm thinking the same.
It's going to be a test. Green Bay, best rushing defense in the league.
Well, Chum, I gotta tell you, I'm watching the games. They have some moments, but they get lit up a little bit too. It's kind of wild. Those numbers might be. Sometimes you have to go through who they've played to put them in that category.
Well, they had the opening win against the Lions, which was their most
Yeah, but
impressive win.
and the Lions
And it
were
was
nowhere near. The Lions look like they're not even anywhere near the right. But
Commanders,
they did-
Bengals, Cardinals, and they tied Dallas. Those
Okay, so
wins.
Panthers.
They lost to
Bengals,
the Browns.
and that running back though, I like him out in Cleveland, but
Judges.
I don't think they've faced the elite. I think the Steelers can have their way. They got to be hungry though. They got to be hungry to what we saw on the defensive side
Well,
last.
that said,
Prediction.
it's time to get your official prediction.
Am I going first every time so you guys can play off of me? Is that what it's going to be?
We're not
Yeah.
playing off of you.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you don't want to go first.
No, I'm going
We
to go
could
first.
reverse that.
I'm going to go first. I tell you, I've watched Green Bay in shootout after shootout, back and forth. I think the Steelers can get points on Green Bay. I expect a Steeler defense to really get after it this week. So I'm going to say Steelers going to put 24 on the board, and I think they're going to keep Green Bay 24-17. Steelers over Green Bay.
David,
I'm not going to play off of you, Jay.
You don't know. That was a joke.
I think the Steelers' offense is going to struggle this weekend. I think if if Green Bay can stop the run and get them into passing situations, Michael Parsons, they got a good pass rush. I'm going 31-17 Green Bay.
Whoa, that's it. Yeah.
So
Wow.
You're showing no faith. You're showing no faith in the deal.
No, you're going.
After last Thursday. What I mean?
No, I'm thinking.
All right.
I'm thinking they got. I'm thinking through film. So I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying that I think in film when you got to watch that what took place last week, and you're sitting on it for this many days. I'm going to say they're going to come out hungry, but I understand where you come from, Dave. You weren't far off last week either.
And I'm going to go with 28-24 Steelers. Give us the home field advantage, and I'm imagining they'll right the ship on defense because it can't possibly be that porous 2 weeks in a row.
If they are, then Dave's going to be the king next week.
Will you guys ever not pick the Steelers?
I'm thinking they're going to win though.
Yeah, I mean they got.
I watch.
Look, he already said
good point.
about Indy.
Did you? But who cares? That's fine.
Every single week you have to pick the Steelers.
But I'm not, and they could have been. They could have been, right? We're not homers. We're going with it. But I will say this. I literally, Green Bay against Dallas, 40-40. Really? Now, Dallas has been good offensively, right? But 40-40. You watch them in the shootout, they're going back and forth. They should have lost to Arizona. Nah. I'm riding this train. I'm watching that they got beat bad, and I'm saying that defensively that they're going to be hungry than they were what we saw in Cincinnati. They need to be.
Well, our fan base is going to let them have it on Sunday night.
Yeah.
All right. One more piece of business, and that is you've got the World Series starting. Before we get into that next Tuesday, I want to hear what you guys think of Ohtani. How about he strikes out 10 in their last game, has 3 home runs. He actually hit the first home run after his first inning where he struck has there
amazing.
Ever been a player that is better than Ohtani?
No. I mean, it's hard to go back from, and Dave probably knows, probably the only other person that could have done what he did was Babe Ruth because he pitched and hit, right? Is there anybody else? No, I don't think there's any other player that can do what he has the ability to do.
Shohei Ohtani.
Dave? He's got it all. The pitching, the power. He can steal bases. He's a threat on the base pass.
Yeah.
He's,
and coming back from the surgery they had, he was still able, right? I mean, so.
Right. I mean, forget about that. He didn't even pitch last year.
No, it's unbelievable to me. I mean, I think but baseball is, and we'll get into this probably in the next week, but the have and the have-nots.
Do you watch the junk that he throws, the way that ball moves?
I still feel like at least is there something about it for a lot of people when the Yankees, not that we see him a World Series in Yankee Stadium, Fenway Park, at least out in L.A. I mean, I think, it's tough. The game is, you got to be a baseball lover, and some people don't. A lot of people have lost interest in the game of baseball and what it takes. They've done some great things with the pitch clock and all that. Thank God.
He's bringing eyes back to the game.
Yeah, he is now
single-handedly.
Yeah, totally agree. What he's done, it's amazing, Larry. I think it's an amazing feat, and I don't know. As I said, I think that's the best ever, really.
As the late Vin Scully, who was the voice of the Dodgers for 67 seasons, would say, Shohei Ohtani at Shays Ravine, it's baseball in the World Series. So we'll talk about that next week.
Yep.
Meanwhile, have a great weekend. Hope you cover your bets. And we want to thank Brian Hess, One Team Media, and the team here, Ryan Jorgen and Logan Douglas, and Michael Spacciapoli from Odyssey Pittsburgh. And a shout out to Andrew Filipponi, who joins us every Tuesday after Steelers games, and we'll catch up with him next week.
And we also have Rourke Automotive, all right? Dave Rourke, part of it, the Rourke Advantage, lifetime state inspections, lifetime oil change. Thanks for being a part of this.
I want to thank a newcomer, a new partner here, sponsor, Henderson Brothers. When it comes to protecting what matters most, your business, your people, and your future, you need more than an insurance policy. You need a partner. Henderson Brothers listens first, crafts a proactive, tailored solution in business and personal insurance, employee benefits, retirement plan consulting, and personal money management. Trusted since 1893, the largest independent agency in the greater Pittsburgh region. Henderson Brothers stands behind you and helps you move forward with clarity and confidence. Thank you, Tom Grealish. Experience the power of partnership at hendersonbrothers.com.
Very nice.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
That's a wrap. Offset, Larry and the Big Man, and Dave Ricchini. Good luck.